Hello, my name is Pavel, welcome back to my channel. I have watched a lot of movies recently, but at the same time, I've been just burnt out with movies. I watched so many a few months ago that now I just have like no motivation to watch movies, but I'm still watching movies, don't get me wrong. I just feel like Letterboxd has definitely ruined my brain when it's come to movies. And if I sound like I'm out of breath, it's because I'm literally just back from work. I ran into the room, took off my jumper, and here we are talking about what I have recently watched, aka what I watched in October or what I watched just movies I've watched recently. I'm filming this as a kind of slop video because I am currently in Poland.
Ja pierdolę, jakie bydle! Bober!
I'm going to be making a video about it, I think, and I just wanted to talk about some movies that I've watched. I'm out of breath, I need to... Okay, so let's not waste any time. Let's get right into what I have been watching. I don't even know if everything's turned on. I am manic and hectic. So here is our diary of what I have watched recently. And yesterday I watched The Mummy, and I remember watching this when I was a kid. I knew no English and I watched this with my mum, and I remember just being fascinated by like the CGI and the performances, and I just enjoyed watching the spectacle of the movie whilst understanding nothing. But now, as a 26-year-old man, I watched this and I had a lot of fun. I feel like this one has aged incredibly well. The jokes have actually stayed like good. Like I kind of surprised, you know when movies from like the 90s, they just, some of them don't age well, but this has aged well. Brendan Fraser, what a beautiful man. It was just great to watch this and understand everything. I did find it kind of funny that all these people are just fucking around with history. They're like, what's gonna happen if we open this book from 3,000 years ago? I don't know, I'm a historian, I want to find out. And they find out and they get their ass handed to them. This is an extremely fun movie and I had a great time with this. Then I watched It's What's Inside because it's spooky season. You know, we're watching horror movies, all that sort of stuff. This was a very confusing movie. My brain melted watching this, but it was very, very fun because it's about a group of friends. They're meeting together before one of them gets married, and they meet an old friend. Like, they invited him, they didn't expect him to come, but he did, and with him he brings this suitcase. And this movie is centered around a game. I love kind of like horror thriller movies that are centered around a game. It's one of my favorite subgenres ever. And this game basically means they are able to swap consciousness. They're able to swap minds with various characters around the suitcase, around the game. And there's like 6 or 7 players, and they've all swapped minds, if that makes sense. I'm not great at explaining this. They swap minds, and they are like, oh, what if I actually lived in this person's body? And we learn more about the characters, their relationships, their secrets, and their history, and what happens at the end. Maybe the game is going to get frozen and people are going to be stuck in the wrong bodies. Who knows? Watch this. It is very fun, and I feel like not a lot of people are talking about this. Then I watched Sleepy Hollow. I really enjoyed this. I didn't expect to enjoy it because I'm weird with Tim Burton movies. I am like 50-50 with Tim Burton movies. Some of them just really work for me, like I mentioned in the previous video. Frankenweenie, the original short movie, I loved it so much, but I feel like I'm one of those movie watchers that is just not crazy about Tim Burton. I love his style, but whenever his style gets too crazy, I'm just not really there for it, I suppose. But Sleepy Hollow kept that style perfect. This movie, once again, aged extremely well. Johnny Depp's performance is incredible. The performances from everybody is great, and I really loved the mystery around this. I loved the aesthetic. I just loved everything that was going on, and it felt like a spooky Halloween movie that just wasn't scary, and that's exactly what my girlfriend wanted to watch, and she picked this, and it was a perfect pick because it just had the right atmosphere, the right vibe for the Halloween mood, but whenever you don't really want to be scared. And I just feel like that worked really well. Then I watched Scooby-Doo. This is a rewatch, but again, I watched Scooby-Doo when I was like 8, and I knew no English, so I'm not really counting that as a watch. So I'm gonna call this a rewatch. This was very fun. The CGI, not great, but are you really going to be seriously critiquing Scooby-Doo the movie? I gave this a 3. I still had a great time with it, and ooh, Strange Darling was a madness. This is one of these movies that you need to watch without knowing nothing. As it says here, it's a one-night stand that spirals into a serial killer's vicious murder spree. It's crazy. This movie is manic. It is not told in, what is the word? Why can't I not think? Oh yes, it's not told in a linear way. Things are revealed throughout the story when we get more context, and since it's kind of told in a non-linear pattern, the way we figure out things is by just piecing parts of the story together. You're really involved in this movie. The performances are great. I'm a massive fan of Kyle Gallner. I don't even know if I'm saying his name correctly, but Kyle Gallner is such an incredibly underrated actor. He's been in Dinner in America, Strange Darling, The Passenger, various movies that you can see here. He is so underrated, and I feel like people just need to kind of talk about him more and have him in bigger movies. But I really enjoy Strange Darling. Then we have Next Floor, which it's a short movie by Dennis. I'm not going to try to pronounce the second name, the director of Dune. It was fun. It's on YouTube. It's about a lot of rich people, and they're eating a dinner, and they eat so much and that their table basically crashes through the floor, and they go down to the next floor, and it's kind of like The Platform, but a little bit shorter. Then we have High Tension. I mentioned this in a recent video for like my Halloween watch list, so I'm not going to say too much, but this movie is batshit crazy. It is a French movie, and the French people are just not all there, because they make the craziest, most disgusting, disturbing movies ever, and this is no exception. But with saying that, it was very fun. It was very fun. Then I watched Moon. Yeah, it's fine. So, out of all the space movies that I've been recently trying to watch, I feel like this is one of the more overhyped ones. Yeah, it's about a man on the moon alone, and then he notices maybe somebody else is with him, and I'm not going to say much more because it's going to spoil the entire movie, but it was merely, it was fine. I really, maybe I wasn't in the right mood. Yeah, I don't know. Then I watched Confessions. This is a revenge movie that is like no other. It is the most batshit crazy revenge movie that you will ever watch. Maybe, okay, maybe not like one of the most craziest. Oh, I just I just saw the ad on Letterboxd. I get some crazy ads on Letterboxd. It says, real men should read this. Day 1, how to talk to anyone. Day 2, the power of habit. Day 3, the 4-hour body. Ooh, curious. Day 4, rich dad, poor dad. That has nothing to do with the movie, but this is a crazy revenge story. It's about a teacher who realizes one of her students has killed her daughter, and I tell you, the more this movie progresses, the more bizarre and insane it is. It is crazy, crazy, crazy. Then I made an entire video around High School Musical 4. High School Musical 4, I wish. High School Musical, it has aged fine. Some songs have aged, some songs have aged great. Do you know what High School Musical is about? I made an entire video about High School Musical. Then we have Vacancy. I've also mentioned this in a recent video. I'm seeing a bit of a theme here. I've mentioned this recently, whatever. It's about a couple who are stranded in an isolated motel. It's one of these like movies in the early 2000s where people and couples and like groups of friends end up in like isolated places for some stupid reason. There's no logical sense as to why they are there. They end up there anyway, and something crazy happens. Somebody starts to attack them, and this movie is no different. It is very fun. Just don't take it seriously. Have fun with it, and that's exactly what I did with this movie, and it was great. The Substance, holy crap, this movie is bizarre. I made an entire video about this, but if you like body horror, you need to go watch The Substance, because it is The Substance is kind of like body horror on steroids, if that's even possible. It is bonkers. It is absolutely incredible. Then we have It Comes at Night. Yeah, I don't really understand this movie, and I think you're not meant to understand it, which I know people say as an excuse, but I do feel like you're not meant to understand this movie. It's basically about a family who is isolated in their home, and basically something comes at night. We don't really know what it is, and then they kind of form a relationship with another family and they start living together. It's basically about a disease. We don't really know what the disease is. Will it attack them because the external family is now living with them? What is the disease? What is coming at night? I don't really know, but for some reason I gave this 4 stars. It worked for me. I was perfectly happy with not knowing. Every movie just explains everything to you, and this movie you can have fun with, you can have theories with, and as far as I know, all the trailers and the marketing with this movie were just very, they had nothing to do with the movie. They kind of painted this movie as a horror movie. This movie is not a horror movie. Well, there are like 2 or 3 jump scares, but for me, it was a character study of a character called Travis, who's an isolated kid who kind of grew up in this, and it is very depressing. So if you view it through the lens of Travis, then hey ho, it's fun. Then Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. I'm watching all of these movies in the cinema because local theater, cinema, whatever is they're showing all of these movies, and I'm going to be watching Part 2 this weekend, and maybe I'll probably talk about it. But it's interesting watching this again as an adult who fully understands English, because whenever I watched this as a kid, I knew nothing. I knew very little, and it's fun. Kind of, I've never read the books, and my girlfriend has read all the books, and she's like, this is not in the book. This is not in the movie. This is not in the movie. And it's great because she explains everything to me that I do not understand, because obviously sometimes you need context from the book that the movie doesn't really explain, but my girlfriend is able to tell me everything, and it's very fun watching it alongside with her. Then we have Dinner in America, and oh my gosh, this movie is absolutely incredible. It is about a girl who's obsessed with a person in a band, and they kind of like accidentally meet together, and they just live their life and kind of form their relationship and friendship, and it is bonkers fun. The character building, they're just their relationships, and just the script, it's very powerful. It's a great, chaotic, bizarre, nuts, boo crazy, like me right now. It feels like it's an it's a nuts movie. You should definitely watch Dinner in America. I always feel like I just go nuts whenever I talk about movies, and I always make these videos extremely long, so let's just do a few more movies and then we can leave it there. What else do we have? Oh, we have Didi. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. It's a coming of age movie that really tugs in your heartstrings and really ticks all the boxes that I could relate to. Like, I felt like this movie really called me out on like the way I acted as a teenager or as like a 10 or 12-year-old, and it is an incredible coming of age movie, and Sean Wang is an incredible director. Even though this is like his proper directorial debut, he also made this short movie, which was a celebration of his two grandmothers, which if that doesn't sound sad, it is sad. It is heartbreaking, but also very beautiful, same as this movie. It's great. It's literally just about being a teenager, but it captures being a teenager in an incredible way, and I feel like we haven't had something that really calls the audience out this much since 8th grade, and this movie does it so well. What a fun movie. Okay, what else do we have here? Let me just flick through. This is what I've been watching, by the way. Oh, Return to Seoul. This is my review, and I'm gonna let you read it while I talk about this movie a little bit, because I feel like everything I have to say is covered here. But it's basically about a lady who's returning to Seoul because that's where her original family is. It's her biological parents are there, and it's a heartbreaking movie, but it's also frustrating because I feel like a lot of the issues and everything that happens in this movie could have been solved by communication, but obviously due to the language barriers, this communication cannot be accessed by the family in Seoul. And about our protagonist who speaks French and English, you really want them to explain all the emotion that they have in their heart, but they're not able to, and it's very sad. The music in this is extremely subtle, but I really do feel like it touches on the communication thing I've just spoken about. Like, I feel like the music in this is like the universal language, I suppose, even though it's used very little, but I really picked up on it, and yeah, it's beautiful. And my review is here. I feel like I just kind of explained myself a little bit better than here, where I'm just yapping. Yeah, let's finish off with one more movie. What is it gonna be? I'm really going back. I'm like in August here. Okay, let's talk about Milk and Cereal. I know I mentioned this again, but I feel like I need to plug this movie because it's on YouTube. It's by a director called Curry Barker, and I feel like in the last video I called him Baker. I did not mean to. It's Barker. He's an up-and-coming horror director, and this is his newest release. It's a POV horror movie where there's like a birthday prank and it goes wrong, but this movie's told in an interesting way which recontextualizes everything that you know about the story, because we get different perspectives throughout the movie that make you look at certain scenes in different ways because of what you know about certain characters, about their intentions. And this movie is so great, and I feel like this guy is just going to be an iconic part of the horror genre because it's inspiring, it's incredible, and everybody should check out Milk and Cereal because it's on YouTube. And why would you not check it out? It's a POV horror movie. If you like horror movies and you have 60 minutes to spend watching a great movie, why would you not watch it on YouTube? Go watch it, support this guy because he's great. And I told you so. I told you so. But I'm gonna wrap it up here. Here are just a few more. Oh, what is that ad? Okay. I get such stupid ads, but anyway, this is what I've been watching since like the last few months. As I said, oh, everyone should check this movie out. Yeah, you can read that there, but watch that. This is what I've been watching recently. Not loads of movies, but it's been very fun. I really enjoy watching movies, but I'm trying to not pressure myself with movies because I've really burnt myself out recently, a few months ago, because I was just forcing myself to watch 2 or 3 movies a day just for the sake of getting my letterbox number higher, and that is stupid. And I'm really trying to just enjoy what I'm watching now, and I have been. It's been fun. But that's what I've been watching recently. What have you been watching recently? I can't talk. What have you been watching recently? Let me know, because I'm very curious. Leave a comment. Let me know. Please subscribe, because so many of you are not subscribed. It's like 95%. It's insane. Please subscribe. It would make my life incredible. But that's everything I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, 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 bye.